All right, avoiding pitfalls, lesson 17. Today is the day that you could potentially be finished with your first song. So how cool is that? So just a couple quick things on this lesson. There are two reasons why we are taking the song out of Ableton, doing a mixdown and then listening to the mixdown outside of it. The first reason is because oftentimes when you've got a full song going, you could possibly have some CPU hiccups or just little artifacts in the sound that affect your listening experience. So when you mix it down to stereo track and then play it on a player, you're able to listen to it in the best possible way. Secondly, you don't want to take cues from the visual stimulation. Oftentimes, you could be looking at your screen in Ableton and see a sound that looks like it's too loud just by the way that you've automated things. Or it can look like it's too quiet, or you can anticipate something coming up so you hear it differently. So when you get the song outside of that and just get into a strictly listening environment, you're able to kind of listen to it for the first time, really. And this is going to help you make better decisions and notice things that will probably sound obvious to you outside of Ableton, but up to this point, you may have kind of missed it. So I find doing this to give me many advantages, and it's something that I still use to this day. So a few things to consider when you're taking your notes is to definitely put the number of minutes and the number of seconds that a certain thing happens in your song. If there's a certain sound in your song that's too loud or too quiet, make sure to note each time that it happens in minutes and seconds. And this is going to make going back and fixing those things really easy. So some things to consider while you're listening to your song is, are there any sounds that are jumping out of the mix too much? Or are there any sounds that should be jumping out a little bit more and aren't? Is there a sound or set of sounds that could improve the song by being removed? Sometimes you find that the groove needs a little bit of space before you bring in like an extra part or something like that. So this might be the case. I tend to find that this happens right after a drop, like when you have a break and then things kick back in. I kind of like things to be a little bit cleaner for the first, let's say, 4 bars. So if I've popped a sound in there, I really consider whether that sound is effective right there or not. But this all comes down to personal tastes as well, so keep that in mind. You also want to listen to the groove throughout the song and be really honest with yourself on if the groove is lacking in any part of the song. And oftentimes, I don't know exactly what the fix is, but I'll say like at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, something needs to happen. And that just lets me know that right in that area, there's something missing in the song. And it could just be a little sound that you need to add, a little reverb hit, just whatever, something of interest right in that spot that can help things out. Could even be as simple as an extra kick drum or a little drum fill of some sort. And then the last thing, you want to kind of make sure that your effects are at a reasonable level. So oftentimes we can push the effects, the delays and reverbs, a little bit too loud. So we want to make sure that we're not overdoing it on any of that. So as you listen, kind of think objectively on if anything is too loud or too over the top. And once you complete this process, make sure to give yourself a break. I'd say set aside like a half hour to just get out of the studio for a little bit and clear your head. Because when you come back in, you're going to want to bang out all these things that you took notes on. And I find that this works best if you don't get emotional about it. You just knock things out, boom, 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 boom. Don't overthink things. You already did the thinking when you took the notes. So now you just need to check everything off the list as you go. Although this should be the end of your song after this stage, you probably want to go through this process a second time after you've made these changes and see if there's anything else that sticks out and just take any final notes. And if you have any final notes, then you can tackle those right away. And if you don't have any final notes, then congratulations, your song is done. Once again, if you need an extra day to go through this process, just to double check and kind of sleep on it before you come back to the song and make your final decisions, that's completely okay as well. It all depends on how much you think that you could take on in one day. So sometimes going through this process twice in one day is not a problem, and other times you feel a little exhausted after going through it once. So whichever way is totally okay. Remember, this is a process that's supposed to last you for a lifetime. So who cares if it takes you a little bit more than 30 days to finish your EP or more than 20 days to finish your first song? The goal is that you learn this process, and each time you go through the process, you get a little bit better and a little bit faster. Till pretty soon, you're able to bang out a song in 7 days, some people even a little bit faster. So huge congratulations to you, and I'll talk to you guys tomorrow.